My wife came home at midnight, again. Her hair was different. Her makeup was smudged. And she smelled like cologne I'd never bought. Stop being insecure, she told me when I didn't smile. It's just a work meeting. I nodded. You're right, you've always been so loyal to your meetings. She didn't catch the sarcasm. She was already thinking about him. That night, while she slept peacefully next to me, I made a decision. I wasn't going to yell. Wasn't going to beg for the truth. Wasn't going to give her the chance to lie to my face one more time. Instead, I took off the one thing I'd worn every single day for 6 years. And I left it somewhere she'd find it in the morning. When she walked into her office and saw what was sitting on her chair, she called me 23 times in 1 hour. But by then, I was already gone. Welcome to Reddit Family Stories. I'm about to tell you about the night I stopped playing dumb and started collecting evidence. Because here's the thing, I'm a financial analyst. I notice patterns. And my wife's late-night meetings. They had a pattern I couldn't ignore anymore. If you love stories about people who finally had enough and did something about it, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is about to get intense. Let's get into it. My name's Marcus, I'm 33 years old, and for 6 years, I was married to someone who genuinely believed I was too oblivious to connect the dots. This story is about the night I stopped playing dumb and started taking action. Let me take you back to the beginning. I met Jessica when I was 27. We were introduced through mutual friends at a networking event. You know that instant spark people always talk about. We had it. Within 3 months we were inseparable. Within a year we were engaged. 2 years after that married. Jessica worked in marketing and PR. I work as a financial analyst. We were both career-focused, ambitious, and I thought we were building something solid together. A real partnership, you know, the kind where you trust each other completely. For the first 5 years, everything seemed fine. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but nothing major. We talked about buying a bigger house, maybe starting a family in a few years. Life was good. Then, about 8 months ago, things started changing. It began with phone calls, late-night phone calls. Jessica would be sitting on the couch next to me, and her phone would ring at 9:30, sometimes 10 at night. She'd glance at the screen, and this expression would flash across her face. Not quite a smile, but something close to excitement. "I'm so sorry, babe," she'd say, already standing up. "Emergency at work. The Kingston campaign is falling apart. I need to jump on a call." Or it would be, "Crisis with the Riverside account. This'll probably take a couple hours." She'd grab her laptop, sometimes change clothes, which I found weird for a video call, but whatever, and disappear into her home office. 2 hours would turn into 3, 3 would turn into 4. At first I didn't think much of it. Her job was demanding. Clients had emergencies. I got it. My job could be intense too. But here's the thing about being a financial analyst: my entire career is built on recognizing patterns. I spend my days looking at data, finding inconsistencies, predicting outcomes based on observable trends, and I started noticing trends with Jessica. She'd come back from these meetings different. Her hair would be messier, like she'd been running her hands through it, or outside in the wind. Her makeup would be smudged in this specific way that didn't happen from sitting at a computer, and she'd smell like fresh air and cologne. Not my cologne. I'd hug her goodnight, and there it was. A scent I didn't recognize. Woody, expensive. Definitely not something she'd pick up from sitting alone in her office. And after these meetings she'd be distant. Distracted. Like her mind was still somewhere else. When I'd ask how it went, she'd give vague answers. "Fine, we sorted out. I'm exhausted though." Then she'd go straight to bed without her usual routine. No Netflix, no unwinding together. Just straight to sleep. The meetings started happening more frequently. Once a week became twice a week. Then 3 times. Last month, she had 7 late-night emergencies. 7. In 30 days I started keeping track. Not because I wanted to be that guy, but because the data wasn't making sense. My brain wouldn't let it go. 3 months ago, I did something I'm not particularly proud of, but I'm not ashamed of either. I created a spreadsheet. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But hear me out. I documented everything. Dates, times, the excuses she gave, what she wore, what time she came back, any inconsistencies I noticed, the cologne, the smudged makeup, the distant behavior afterward. I never confronted her. Every time I felt the anger rising, I'd stop myself. Because what would confrontation accomplish? She'd deny everything. She'd tell me I was being paranoid, insecure, controlling. She'd flip it around on me. So I stayed quiet. And I kept documenting. Then, 2 weeks ago, Jessica got slop. It was a Saturday morning. She'd gone for a run, came back, and jumped in the shower. Left her phone on the kitchen counter. Unlocked. I wasn't planning to look. Honestly, I was making coffee, minding my own business. But the screen lit up with a text notification and I saw the preview. "Can't wait to see you tonight, same spot." The name at the top said, "Brian, work." My heart started pounding. I glanced toward the bathroom. Water was still running. I picked up her phone. I know. Invasion of privacy. But at that point, I was past caring about ethics. I needed to know if I was losing my mind or if my gut was right. I opened the messages. Months. Months of conversations with this Ryan guy. And they weren't work conversations. I hate that I have to lie to him. Me too. But it's complicated, you know that. When are you going to tell him? I don't know. He's so predictable, so boring lately. These nights with you are the only time I feel alive. Tonight 9:30, the usual place. I'll tell him it's the Morrison account again. He never questions it anymore. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I scrolled back. Weeks and weeks of this. Plans to meet. Complaints about me, about our marriage, how I didn't excite her anymore, how she needed something more. I took screenshots, sent them to my email, deleted the evidence from her sent folder. Then I put the phone back exactly where it was and walked out of the kitchen. I sat in our bedroom for 2 hours. Just sat there, processing. Part of me wanted to storm into the bathroom and confront her right there. Show her the screenshots, demand answers. But I knew that would give her control. She'd cry, apologize, promise it meant nothing, swear she'd end it, and I'd be stuck in this cycle of forgiving and doubting until she did it again. I needed something final. Something she couldn't talk her way out of. For the next 2 weeks, I acted completely normal. Like nothing had changed. Like I didn't know. It was harder than you'd think. Sitting across from her at dinner, watching her check her phone with that little smile, listening to her tell me about her day, knowing half of it was lies. Going to bed next to someone who was thinking about someone else. But I did it because I needed time to prepare. I researched divorce attorneys, read reviews, made notes. I organized our financial documents. Bank statements, mortgage papers, retirement accounts, car titles. I figured out what was joint, what was separate, what I'd need to protect myself. I wasn't acting on emotion. I was building a case. Last Tuesday it all came to a head. We were having dinner. I'd made pasta. Jessica hadn't cooked in weeks, always too busy with work. We were eating in silence, which had become normal lately, when her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. That smile. That little spark in her eyes. I have to take a meeting tonight, she said, not quite looking at me. Last minute thing. Probably gonna run until 11 or so. Another one. I kept my voice neutral. That's the third this week. I know. I'm sorry. Work is insane right now. You understand, right? I just looked at her. Watched her construct the lie. Watched her put on the performance. Stop being insecure. She said suddenly, with this edge to her voice. It's just a quick late-night meeting. I'll be home before you know it. And there it was. The word, insecure. Like my completely reasonable observation was a character flaw. I smiled. Actually smiled. You're right, I said calmly. You've always been so dedicated to your meetings. She paused, fork halfway to her mouth. Stared at me like she was trying to figure out if that was sarcasm. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just acknowledging your work ethic. She studied my face, looking for anger, suspicion, anything. I gave her nothing. Okay, she said slowly. I'll be back. Up. I won't. She left at 8:30. Dressed in this fitted black dress that was way too nice for a video call. Wearing the perfume I bought her last Christmas. Hair and makeup done perfectly. I watched her car pull out of the driveway. Then I went to our bedroom and opened my nightstand drawer. My wedding ring sat there next to my watch. I'd worn it every single day for 6 years. Through arguments and makeups, through stressful times and good times, through every moment of our marriage. It meant something, a promise, a commitment. She'd broken that months ago. I took off the ring. Held it in my palm for a moment, feeling the weight of it. Then I walked to her home office and placed it in the center of her desk chair. Just the ring. Nothing else. No note, no explanation. Then I started packing, not frantically, not emotionally, just methodically. I went through the closet and took my clothes. Went through the bathroom and took my toiletries. Grabbed my laptop, important documents, a few books I cared about. I worked until 3 in the morning. By then everything that mattered was in my car. The house was still full of our stuff, furniture, kitchen things, all the accumulated junk of 6 years together. But I didn't care about any of that. Those were just objects. The ring on her chair was my statement. Period at the end of a sentence. Then I drove to a hotel on the other side of town and checked in for an extended stay. I didn't leave a note, didn't send a text, just left. And I slept better that night than I had in months. I woke up at 7 a.m. to my phone exploding. 23 missed calls, 47 text messages, all from Jessica. I made coffee first, took my time. Then I finally looked at the messages. They started at 6:47 a.m., which meant she'd gotten home late, probably went straight to bed, and found the ring first thing in the morning. The first few were confused. Marcus, where are you? Why is your ring on my chair? What's going on? Then panicked. Marcus, call me please. This isn't funny. Where did you go? Asked Gumman. Then angry. You can't just leave without talking to me. This is childish. We need to discuss this like adults. Then desperate, please come home, we can fix this, I love you. Please. I finished my coffee. Then I sent one text, I know about Ryan. I know about all of it. I've known for months. We're done. My lawyer will contact you. The response was immediate. My phone started ringing. I declined the call. It rang again. Declined. Then the texts flooded in. There's nothing to know about Ryan. We're colleagues. You're paranoid. If you just let me explain. How dare you spy on me? You're throwing away 6 years over nothing. I never cheated. This is your fault for being so insecure. Classic playbook, right? Denny, deflect, blame the victim. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I called the lawyer I'd already researched, had a consultation that afternoon. She listened to everything, reviewed my screenshots and documentation. This is pretty straightforward, she said. You have clear evidence of an emotional affair, documented deception, and a timeline of when things deteriorated. With no kids and relatively simple assets, this should be clean. She might fight it initially, but once we present evidence, most people back down. How long? 6 months minimum. Could be longer if she contests, but I doubt she will. That night, Jessica found me. I don't know how, probably called every hotel in town, but there she was in the lobby when I came back from dinner. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair in a messy ponytail, eyes swollen from crying. Part of me felt bad. The part that had loved her for 6 years. But a bigger part remembered every lie. Marcus, please, can we just talk? There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. You're ending our marriage over a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. I read months of messages. I know exactly what's been happening. Her face went pale. You went through my phone. You went through marriage. I'd say we're even. Those messages are out of context. Ryan and I are friends. We vent to each other about work. That's all. Friends don't meet at hotels. Friends don't talk about how boring their spouse is. Friends don't lie about work emergencies 3 times a week. Whenever. She started, but I cut her off. I pulled out my phone and showed her a screenshot. Her message to Ryan, room 285. I'll be there by 9:30. His response, can't wait. All the color drained from her face. That was for a work meeting. The hotel is conference rooms, at 9:30 at night, with a room number. Try again? Marcus, please. I made mistakes. I got too close to a colleague, but I never physically cheated. We just talked. Emotional affairs are still affairs. Jessica. You gave him everything that should have been mine. Your time, your thoughts, your energy. While lying to my face about it. That's betrayal. She started crying harder. Please don't do this. We can go to counseling. We can fix it. I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have spent 8 months making me feel crazy. If you loved me, you would have talked to me instead of him. If you loved me, you wouldn't have called me insecure for noticing obvious lies. I wasn't like that. I was exactly like that. The papers will be served next week. Don't contact me unless it's through lawyers. I walked past her to the elevator. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. When the elevator doors closed, I saw her standing there, completely broken, and I felt nothing. The divorce took 7 months total. Jessica fought it at first, tried to claim we could reconcile, that I was being hasty. But once the evidence was formally presented, she backed down. Her lawyer probably told her fighting would only make it worse. Ryan, interestingly, stopped responding to her messages within days of me leaving. Apparently when the affair had real consequences, he wasn't interested anymore. Jessica tried to blame me for ruining her friendship. But our mutual friends weren't buying it. We settled out of court. Split everything down the middle. I got my share of the house equity. We divided savings and assets. Clean break. I moved into a downtown apartment. Started over. Jessica moved to a different city 3 months after everything finalized. New job, fresh start. I heard through a mutual friend that she tells people I abandoned the marriage over nothing. That she was the victim of my paranoia. Let her tell that story. The people who matter know the truth. I'm doing good now. Better than good, actually. I'm seeing someone new. Taking it slow, being honest about my past. She's patient and understanding. And most importantly, she doesn't have late-night meetings that smell like someone else's cologne. The wedding ring is still in a box somewhere in my closet. I should probably sell it. But I keep it as a reminder. Not of Jessica, but of the moment I chose myself. That ring on her chair was the loudest thing I've ever said. No arguments, no begging, no drama. Just a simple statement: I know I'm done. And you can't talk your way out of this. She froze when she saw it because she knew exactly what it meant. The silence cracked because there was nothing left to say. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. If you've been in a situation like this, or know someone who has, drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share real stories from real people every week, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching Reddit Family Stories. I'll see you in the next one.